Good evening, race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series as we're here with the next gens at Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, the track that only's got 3 turns. What turn 4? As this is a fun one. It is the size of a super speedway, but you got to use a little bit of braking, a little bit of wherewithal to know where the other cars are, because this is not one where you can just send this thing full throttle around these corners. It is the Tricky Triangle for a reason. Carlin, we're joined in the booth by Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, 55 laps around this track is one where it's kind of a little mini endurance race.
Yeah, I mean, it's no, if you've ever driven in Pennsylvania, it's tricky driving there, no matter what road you're on. And I grew up there, so that's just what it is. Whether you're missing a pothole or dodging a deer or whatever may come across your way up there in the northeast side of Pennsylvania, but it's definitely a fun one out here. It is confusing, the different layouts. You're gonna probably, if we ride on board with some of the drivers, you might hear them downshifting in some of the corners. There's all kinds of techniques here. There's plenty of lanes to go, 2 wide, 3 wide, and I'm sure we'll see some of that here. Hopefully they just give each other enough room here tonight. As we've been here before, we've seen them go super clean, and we've seen them get pretty messy, and obviously we know how long the caution flags are here, and it can take a while. So either way, we're out here for 55 laps. We're going to put this thing on the track here shortly. So we've got a little over a minute left of qualifying, and we'll be then seeing these drivers out on the track, and see how well they do all grouped up together here. It does look like we have 25 drivers on the docket anyways. We'll see if we get that many on the track here tonight.
Getting a little bit closer to the chase this season, and we'll see that in just a few races. We got Pocono tonight, Bristol, Richmond, and Watkins Glen before we start the chase in September. Right now, the points standings have Dylan Jacobs on top of the boards by a pretty good amount here. Ron Millam, Tiffany Ellis, Josh Duncan, Justin Potts, TJ Hanley, Dylan Emerson, Matthew Hake, Kyle Emerson, Richard Covington, Thomas O'Connor, and Austin Hayes are the lucky drivers that are currently above that cut line, with 17 points back from Austin Smith to Cody Brewer. Back there in that 13th position, another 3 back to Joshua Smith, another 2 back to Chris Ledford. So real tight there, and even only another 3 back to Cody Handler. And you can even say, William O'Connor, Brian Roy back there, only 35 points below the cut line. That is still well within the realm of possibility to try and get up there and get themselves into the chase before this thing is done, as the points will reset. I believe there's bonus points for wins, which wins have been, going around to just about everybody this season. 5 different winners in the last 5 races, and overall we've had 8 different winners this season, with only Dylan Jacobs and Tiffany Ellis picking up multiple wins on the season with 2 each. But Ron Millam, Josh Duncan, Justin Potts, TJ Hanley, Dylan Emerson, Thomas O'Connor, all picking up wins so far this season. A single win. We'll see if anybody comes through with their second win. Maybe we get a 6th different winner in 6 races. But either way, we're going to find that all out here momentarily, as I believe we're all done with qualifying. Jimmy, why don't you guys run down that 25 car starting order?
Qualifying is finished up, and tonight's pole sitter is going to be the number 5 of Dylan Jacobs, getting that number 1 starting spot with outside competitor, the number 18 of Thomas O'Connor. Then you have Dylan Emerson and Matthew Hake making up row number 2. Tiffany Ellis starts on row number 3 with Austin Wells. Row number 4, TJ Hanley and Ron Millam. Harper Fox and Austin Smith on row number 5. Chris Ledford and Brian Roy back there on row number 6. Row number 7 made up Cody Handler and Joshua Smith, and 8 is going to be Justin Potts and Joshua Duncan. Cody Brewer and Dylan Large make up row number 9, as we have more drivers to see here as we'll advance the screen. For row number 10, we have Chase Ballard with Michael Garcia, Ryan Seasmore with Will O'Connor, and then Jay Monin and Kyle Emerson on row number 12. And bringing up the back of the pack is going to be the number 43 of Bruce Spencer, So we give a huge shout out to all the fans out there. I see 18 people. Shout out to Rango and Barry, Amanda and Kathy, as always, and everybody else that joins here. I know you all already do it, but we appreciate it with the thumbs up, like, subscribe. It's free, so there's no subscription fees here, and it definitely helps out the little algorithm for YouTube, and to get these drivers of Pit Road Speed Limit Racing easily found. And maybe some new drivers. It does look like our fields continue to kind of trickle in one by one here and there, and obviously keep getting people over at the channel and hitting that like and subscribe, because our numbers keep going up as we have broken over the 1,800 subscribers here at CRN. So it's I think a pretty decent number for a small niche community, and what we do here on weeknights.
We're about to see what they're going to do here on Wednesday night here at Pit Road Speed Limit, as pace car is going to be in at this time by Dylan Jacobs, Thomas O'Connor on the front row heading into turn number 3. And I think with the way these cars are typically set up here for the next gens, you're going to see multiple lines, especially through turn number 1. 2, you may see 2 lines. 3, you can see 2 lines, but it's going to be preferred to be at the bottom for sure. But Pit Road, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that entry to Pit Road, because it can get a little bit tricky here at the triangle. Pace car is in, green flag is out. It's time to go racing here in the Pocono Mountains.
Yeah, nice start by the front row, as they're almost dead even as the 5 and 18 head down to turn number 1, being pushed by the 6 and the 83, and it's going to be a tight. You see a couple of drivers kind of looking a little low, a little early, trying to get that inside line down through turn number 1. Does look like the 18 is going to come off that high line down the inside in front of the 6 to get that momentum and drive down the backstretch to take the lead over Thomas O'Connor. Or no, that's Thomas O'Connor trying to get around Dylan Jacobs.
Yeah, Thomas O'Connor is your winner last week, looking to go back-to-back, and the 18 is definitely not one you want to kind of wake up here. He can go on a little bit of a good string of races here, and he was the one on the bubble heading into last week's race, and obviously the win last week has got him a little bit healthier, only 5 points ahead of Austin Smith at the back, as we see Justin Potts scraping the wall there a little bit, getting a little shot from the 60, but Thomas O'Connor comes in 11th in points instead of 12th, so at least he's got an extra driver buffer in between there. But another win, but well, it would feel nice and sweet. But we're gonna have a caution here early, as so we have an incident here in turn number 1. We'll take a look back here and see what happened, because I don't see anything in particular. I see some cars blinking, but I don't see anything on SDK telling me who the heck caused it.
Nah, I don't even see anybody slow. Let's see if we can see anything going on here. Anybody being
like it was, I believe it was an admin caution. Not sure if that had anything to do with it.
Maybe an oops. I don't see anybody with any kind of damage. Let's see, one way to do this, Carl. We have a wall.
Just rewind it and kick it old school.
I mean, if they're trying to get me to take a nap early, I mean, I'm all right with that. But guess we'll go ahead and see if we can look at the front of these cars, see if we got any damage. We'll start from back. Bruce Spencer,
right. or just bring it back a lap and watch from behind and see if anybody spins out. That's the only other thing I can think of. There we go.
Some damage there on Jay Monin, but was in the back, but just a little scuff of the wall, not too bad. A little scuff there on Ryan Sizemore, and then Mark Garcia looks good. Chase Ballard, he's got some little bit of scuff damage on the front right, his front left. Some scuff damage on Cody Brewer there, but we've seen that. It's just a bounce off the wall. Justin Potts looks good. Harper Fox looks good. Some damage there on Cody Hamler's right side. So people really getting up against that wall here early, because those tires weren't quite even warmed up here. A little right front damage there on Brian Roy's. Ron Millen with a little bit of right damage. TJ Hanley still looks good. Tiffany Ellis's car looks good. Austin Wells. Matthew Hakes got a little damage on that number 83. Dylan Emerson, Thomas O'Connor looks good, and then Dylan Jacobs even got a little bit of damage, but maybe some fake outs here early, super early, but it does look like so TJ Hanley going to go in. We've seen this from TJ before, but it's going to be followed by a few other drivers. You know, got Duncan and Justin Potts, Kyle Emerson, Dylan Large, you know, and this could be, you know, just an extra lap of fuel here for some of these drivers. Might help stay out a little bit longer. This track is a little bit too long to, you know, short pit and, you know, kind of be able to stay out and like put people a lap down. So this call here is just I don't know, just a little bit of maybe try to not take an extra pit stop later on. I mean, I'd rather take a pit stop under caution any day, but backpack to the field looks like they just come in, top off, come back in, and they'll get back out there. But Dylan Jacobs is going to lead this thing here, who's currently in front of Thomas O'Connor, Dylan Emerson, Matthew Hake, Austin Wells for your top five. The back there in sixth going to be Tiffany Ellis with Ron Middle, Brian Roy, Chris Ledford, and then Cody Handler for your top 10.
Half the field in the pits on this one. The rest of the field electing to stay out. And it's going to shift up the field here a little bit. You know, certainly most of the drivers coming in just taking fuel. We're trying to work this thing backwards, or you never know when those extra 2-3 laps of fuel will come into play and just get you over one of the marks here to finish this thing out. But Dylan Jacobs, Thomas O'Connor, Dylan Emerson, Matthew Hake, top four remain the same. Austin Wells gets around Tiffany Ellis at the beginning, so fifth and sixth have swapped since the start of the race. Ron Millum up one spot. Biggest movers of the race, Michael Garcia, Ryan Sizemore up 8 spots here so far. Kyle Emerson up 9 spots into 15th. As pace car lights should be out this time by, and looks like a few more takers in the pit lane. TJ Hanley, Justin Potts coming back in to the pits for some more service, and it takes a little bit sometimes here at Pocono, but yeah, it looks like the lights are going to be out here on the pace car. Well, they're going to double them up, and it looks like Dylan Jacobs choosing the outside line.
Yeah, and it could just be like sometimes makes it a little bit easier for it to get that takeoff and not have to like battle to get in a position that maybe he prefers in the start there. But yeah, Dylan Jacobs on the outside with Thomas O'Connor down the inside. It's kind of the way they managed out of the first time coming out of turn one, and yeah, so just hang into that spot. Rick's where he feels comfortable here tonight and to get things done. But first caution on the night, and obviously takes us all the way up to lap number 5 of 55 as we come by and get this 5th lap completed. But we still have 50 more laps to go here tonight once we get back under green. So let's hope for a great race and see these drivers finish this thing out to the end here tonight, as we know they can, and see some great side-by-side racing. And let's go execute the green flag pit stops, one of my favorite. One of the things that gets overlooked by a lot of drivers pit entry is how fast those cones come up, and no pit limiters on these cars. You gotta manage your speed all by your lonesome, no matter how much you hate it. That is probably the hardest part would be racing ovals, was making sure I could keep that maximum speed but under the speed limit to get down on the pit stop, and then stop in your pit box and not miss it. But pace car coming out of turn number 3, no fork can't be found, and we're getting ready to go back to green.
Yeah, this is not exactly the roughest place to restart. You're fully on the straightaway when you get to the restart zone here, so I agree. I think it's just maybe, you know, who you want to start in front of, or maybe just making sure he's set up to get that good entry into turn number 1 by starting on the outside. But Dylan Jacobs going to get that good restart, going to pull Matthew Hake along the outside there, getting alongside of Thomas O'Connor, and that could have been the case there as well. Just try and get O'Connor a little bit uncomfortable having to stay down on the bottom, heading through turn number 1. Down the Long Pond straightaway here, as O'Connor going to try and slide in just in front of Dylan Emerson. I don't know if there was any room in between those two cars right there heading into 2.
Paperclip. It's definitely one of the closer slide front that you can get, and so you get a nice run here. So you just got to be careful the car doesn't get too tight here and it's one of those places that the dirty air will affect the car and make it tight, or even take the air off the spoiler. Could make it loose, but push there by the 83 on the 5, and you can get two cars to work together, Carl. Start bump drafting a little bit and they kind of spread things out. But it takes drivers that want to work together, and typically not what happens here in most races. They keep battling for each position, unless it's a super speedway. But you can see in the back, we're going to go back to the back here, as we got some two wide action here right in front of Austin Smith at number 33, and these little drivers that have kind of been in and took a little bit of extra fuel, or maybe was in trying to get that damage if they had any repaired. And then maybe some of them staying a little bit lower off that wall here early on, and know that they still have a lot of laps to go here. And Carl, we haven't talked about it yet, obviously super early in the race, but the tires here at Pocono get destroyed.
Yeah, they do. It's a flatter track. I mean, turn 1 is the only one that has really any kind of banking. Turn 2, the tunnel turn, is pretty flat. You can go too wide there, but you're carrying a lot of speed through there, so you're going to be really ripping up that front right. Turn 3, pretty much as flat as it gets. I mean, it's based off of a flat track, and it can get really rough. I mean, to me, this track is... Well, it's unique in itself. It is the tricky triangle for a reason. It's a tri-oval, but not really. It's 3 turns out here. The only track that, to me, it compares to is Indy. I know they're completely different tracks, but they're both 2.5-mile tracks. Turn 2 here at Pocono is based off of a turn at Indy, but they're as flat as each other are going through the corners. They rip up the right front. The pit road is very similar in the sense that you come out of that final corner and the entry is pretty much right there. The cone is outside of pit entry, so you have to be woed up to the correct speed before you get into the inside the walls of pit road. So a lot of similarities to Indianapolis, and even got some of the corners where you're kind of letting the car breathe a little bit. Like in turn number 2, you're maybe not using the brake at all. Maybe you're just kind of letting the other car roll in the corner. Wait until you get about 2/3 of the way through the corner, picking up that throttle again. But it's all about getting the right feel, because every one of these corners, coming out of 1, coming out of 2, especially coming out of 3, that wall on exit can come up very fast because of being too tight.
Yeah, you don't want to meet the wall here. You're seeing what, as we're kind of going through some of the cars, how much damage, a slap can be. And, next thing you know, you got a slap and you got lack of steering. And that's not something you want on a racetrack. They're getting pretty good speeds here, seeing top speeds over 200 miles an hour. So definitely a lot of speed to be had in these cars. And, I know in real life, I think there's the super speedways. I don't know about this track here, but the super speedways, Carl, they're supposed to reduce the spoiler, I believe, by 4 inches. But they're going to reduce the horsepower. So they say that there's supposed to be faster solo laps at the super speedways, and the speeds together should still be the same. So it's going to be interesting, taking away some downforce and add in a little bit of horsepower on these cars when it comes to super speedways in real life.
Like another way that this is like Indy is kind of what you were bringing up earlier. 2 cars working together, maybe Matthew Hake and Dylan Jacobs working together here a little bit, because just like Indy, you can stretch this field out quite a bit. And you already seen it here at the front of the field, little 2-car breakaway. Then you got a gap back to another 3 cars that are broken away by about 2 seconds. Tiffany Ellis, the last one in line here, back in the Napa Auto Parts at number 9 for tonight. She's got about 2 seconds in between her and Cody Handler as the top 5, really breaking away. But we're all going to get reeled back in together, because it looks like Brian Roy involved in an incident here. It's going to bring out a caution.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and check that out, see what happened to Roy here at this track. And already you can see him trying to catch it. Oh, some waste of action, but tries to lock it up. Oh, 77 gets hit. Nowhere to go. Tried to slide up there, but the 82 just did not have enough time to stop. But we'll go ahead and so we can see that whole thing unfold. And rewind that here. So we'll go ahead and stop and rewind here. Just go back to the point where Brian started losing it to see what maybe been the case here for the number 82, and by himself at the moment, heading down into the turn. See if he gets any assistance. Nope, just down there on the apron. Right there, Carl, just starting to lose it by himself.
Yeah, a little too aggressive on the throttle on exit, and I'll get you every time. But unfortunately for the 77 there, a heavy impact for Josh Duncan, and looks like he picked up a black flag for some reason there as well. Maybe coming into the pits and trying to get that thing repaired quickly. But that's going to bring us under our second caution here tonight. Dylan Jacobs still leads the way, but Jimmy, we had maybe half the field come in on that first caution. This one, it's already 11 laps, 12 laps into the race. I would think it's going to be pretty busy on pit road.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're thinking about tires at this point. I mean, obviously, there's still going to be, I can't add, 33 laps still. 43 laps still. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, we got a lot of laps left.
43.
Yeah,
You're right.
First.
I mean, double thinking that one too.
Yeah. I've been too busy crunching numbers and staring at charts for the past couple of days. And so, yeah, excuse my public bath is not on par tonight, but that's okay. So with people coming in here, the pit's kind of getting busy, but a few staying out. Chris Ledford, Justin Potts, and Josh Duncan take on the challenge here. To stay out and kind of get things going. But right now, everybody is in, and it does look like Dylan Jacobs is going to win the fight off the pit road. And then Thomas O'Connor, TJ Hanley gets a nice pit stop, and then Cody Brewer a ton of spots. Up in 7th place. Tiffany Ellis falls back to 8th. Dylan Emerson falls back to 9th. Cody Handler up a couple spots at 10th, back to Garcia and 9th, and the biggest mover with everything going on right now is the number 60 of Kyle Emerson.
Thank everyone out there for tuning in tonight. If you haven't done so already, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. I want to thank all these drivers for showing up here, as well as Jimmy mentioned. It seems like you're getting a couple more trickling in every single week here, and good sized field out here. 25 is a good spot to be. Anything 20 plus is always good to see out here, and love to see that many drivers out here tonight, and especially a little bit deeper into the season. I want to thank our sponsors, Maximum Edge Graphics and Axtrom, for everything that they do here for the series, as well as we should see the pace car in this time by, and we'll get this thing back going. Still got about 40 laps left in this race. Whether Jimmy wants to correct me on that path or not, we'll let that one go. But either way, a few laps into this race, but still got a lot to go.
Plenty to go here, and obviously getting too wide there. I think the lights are off on the pace car. We look ahead. Yep, lights are off on the pace car as they head down the back stretch. Right, nope, front stretch. Down to turn number 1. Too many trees. There's not much on the outskirts here at Pocono. The stands are on the front stretch for sure, and the infield gets plenty full with campers and whatnot down there. And I do have to watch in turn number 1 though. From history, when I was there many years ago, it became a big old mud pit. So not what you need. But you can see on the TV or on your TV or screen, you can see the campers off on the left-hand side, and it's just like that. Like the whole infield is like a camp zone, and it's amazing how many people they stick inside. But 2.5 miles around, and then they fill in that inside with all the fans. It's like a big old party for a weekend. So if you're looking for something to do, go to a larger racetrack, get into the infield, and just plenty of people to meet, plenty of interesting people to meet, for sure.
Well, another thing that happens occasionally, I don't know if it's from all the trees or what, I'm not a meteorologist, but it can get foggy up here at Pocono, and I know Barry can attest to it out there in Sierra Nation, that we went to a race one time up here that was canceled and postponed due to the too much fog in the area, and it got moved to a Monday race because the fog would not lift, and it was a thick, heavy fog to the point where we've kind of laughed and joked. We had some races here on CRN already, more on the road side that just had too much fog. We had some on the oval side here, I believe, as well. That was just completely thick fog, but luckily skies are blue, skies are clear, and so is the racing here. Has a green flag back out, and we're going again here at Pocono. Chris Ledford stayed out here, only one. Actually, Justin Potts also stayed out here on this one at the front of the field. They'll head it down in turn number 1, but Josh Duncan looks like he's going to bring out another caution.
Yeah, we'll go back here and see what happens in 77 and just try to check up. Did not get into somebody right before the start-finish line. Ends up backing into the wall. And I guess if you're going to take any damage on the rears, a little bit better than the front here at Pocono. But yeah, that's a tough one. Just got a little excited to get going back to green and ends up checking up and spinning around, not being able to catch it.
Yeah, shame, and hopefully these drivers can get this thing cleared up here a little bit and get some green flag racing, as it can be fun. And we had a nice little run there at the beginning, good 8 laps or so, and you already see how much the field can spread out just in those 8 laps. But the field will all bunch up here again, kind of half and half of the drivers that came in, whether they just took fuel or took their first set of tires. Again, these drivers don't have unlimited tires here tonight. They only have got a little closer, catch them back up, but only 3 sets of tires over the wall in that pit lane that they can use for the entire race, and 2 fast repairs as well. So gotta try and hold on to both of those with both hands, and hopefully not have to use them if you don't have to. But I don't know, I mean, 11 laps into this race, maybe now if you decide to come in, I would think I'd be taking at least my first set of tires.
Yeah, they just trying to catch the pace car there.
Pace car, yeah, pace car's out
like, where the heck's the pace car?
Yeah.
got out there. I thought they were almost racing the amount of speed they're going on, so just gotta.
It was the Porsche pace car here tonight. Yeah, that hammer down.
I'll tell you what, some of the pace cars, I think they're depending on the one that you select as how fast your pace speed's gonna be. We had one of them on when we were running Legends. You're pretty much wide open on this little 0.2 of a mile oval that you got dizzy on when you're going full throttle. But when that pace car came out, it was like you didn't stop racing for the most part.
Yeah, it's not often you have to race the pace car, but you kind of had to just to stick with it, and too wide pretty much ended up being a single file because everybody was just trying to go as fast as they could. But here tonight we don't have that. They finally caught up to the pace car. Now the only thing that kind of gets a little screwy with this here, with trying to catch a pace car when iRacing kind of sends the pace car out in a weird situation like that, and the pace car's 2/3 of the track ahead of them, is it can screw up the pit stops. If you plan on coming into the pits, you could enter a closed pit. You could be so far behind that when you come into the pits, even though this is a bigger track here, you can go down a lap if the pace car gets a little bit screwy like that. But luckily, it looks like everyone in and out that wanted to come into the pits, and not too many, just from 16th on back from Matthew Hake on back there. But Hake was up there towards the front. He looks like he's content coming in here and playing a little more fuel strategy here, coming in on lap number 16. But Chris Ledford, maybe he didn't bring a pit crew here tonight. Not sure what he brought with him, or he is driving the city number 71, so maybe they're eating ice cream.
And maybe they're eating ice cream, and they're like, just stay out there, get some points in the lead. Like, you got this. We'll figure it out here shortly. And these laps like this, Carl, I mean, it's not. It kind of does let them tires kind of calm down from being heated up, and can actually be beneficial than cold tires. But the thing is sometimes it can be difficult, firing it off, and you gotta be careful what gear you're starting, and so you don't spin it out and then take the rest of the field with you because we're in the front. So just got to be careful on them older tires, and then obviously the drivers that have the newer tires will be have to pay attention as well because they tend to be slightly faster. And you know, when you got somebody out there trying their best to maintain position with some older tires, but they have some challenges closing faster than you think. Maybe they're already backing up their braking points to kind of conserve their tires. So it's awareness by the other drivers. I mean, you do have Chris Ledford up there, and you have Justin Potts that was in there on lap number 4 on one of the earlier cautions. So, you know, and they're pretty big movers. You got up 10 spots and up 12 spots for Justin. And a few other good drivers that are moved up through the field as well. But Ben in the pits is Cody Brewer up 11, Michael Garcia up 11, and Ryan Sizemore up 10, and Bruce Spencer up 11. So you could tell that some of those drivers that were up front made their way to the back, because Dylan Emerson is down 13 spots, Ron Billum down 13, Austin Wells down 13, Austin Wells down 18. So, and then we have Josh Duncan done for the night already in number 77. So we're going to get things going back here. We are too wide and getting ready to exit turn number 3. Give this one more, give this restart one more time here and see if we get some green flag racing in as we get ready to go green.
It's the green at number 71 that'll get them started off here, and get a little help there as I get and wait to the end of the restart zone until the 471 fires off. But now looking to the outside here is going to be Justin Potts looking for the lead, the 71 of Chris Ledford. Not going to have any kind of tires of battle with him, almost 3 wide, but Dylan Jacobs could not finish and get to the outside of the 71. He's going to file back in line. He's going to want to try and get around that 71 as quick as possible, though, because Justin Potts in the lead there. He doesn't have newer tires from lap number 4, but he did at least come in and get a little bit more fuel in that car now, side by side. But because Dylan Jacobs messes up turn number 2 here a little bit, the 08 of TJ Hanley to the outside, and now goes right to the outside of the 71 looking for second.
TJ on the outside there of 71 as they exit turn number 3. Gonna stop that 71 from guiding out to the wall, so I have to run them as wide as possible. And you know, sometimes when you're that inside car, you could kind of pin that driver up there and slow him down. But comes down a little bit earlier, gives the 08 plenty of room, and we can see him tracking out there with them open tires in the 5.
You're saying about giving room?
Well, he came down early, you know, and he. You know, good thing that TJ kind of stayed out there a little bit farther. That allowed the 71 to kind of keep his run going a little bit, but obviously scrubbing off some speed as he had to drift up the track. But you got the 18 there of Thomas O'Connor trying to decide who to go with, and obviously you're going to try to go with somebody that's not following back here on time, but 71 going to have to do what he can to hold on to his positions as he's falling back to number 5 now. The drivers with a little bit newer tires are starting to get around. Go back here with Ryan Sizemore as he is side by side with number 9 of Timothy Ellis. This is back here for Pete, number 10. So, you know, halfway through the pack. But Carl, most of the cars are nose to tail for the most part.
Yeah, maybe get to the point where they're looking at trying to get a bit of a run in here. I mean, these cars stick to the track pretty well. There's a wicked bump coming out of turn number 1 at Pocono, and I'm wondering if that's, you know, what caught the. I forget who it was now. That they got caught up in the caution early on out of turn number 1. But for the most part, these cars stick to the track pretty well. They got some pretty good downforce, and that's why you can see them go too wide if they want to. But typically, turn 2, turn 3, you're going to want to be down towards the bottom of the track. There's no benefit to being in the middle or the outside. You can get some good runs out of the corners, but it's not like you're out there to save tires, because this thing is flat enough. Turn 1, yeah, you can go middle or high, and we've seen drivers do it, but same thing, I don't think you're gaining too much by being out there. If anything, you're maybe just trying to drive a little bit harder, wearing out your tires and your fuel a little bit more than everyone else. But Justin Potts right now trying to wear everybody out front. He's out there by 0.7 of a second, because TJ Hanley and Dylan Jacobs still going at each other.
Yeah, trying to hold off Tito, trying to hold off Dylan, and that battle there might be, you know, what are you gonna call it? Adverse to their race. You know, allowing Justin Potts to kind of get out. The only thing you can kind of hope for at this point is that you know, maybe he's racing a little bit too hard out front, and Justin Potts will burn off his tires, but. Right now, it seems to be settling down in the single file and trying to maybe catch back up to Justin Potts to get this thing going. A little bit of too wide action back there, right in front of, right there with the 71. But we're going to have a yellow flag flying again. This time, Michael Garcia, Matthew Will O'Connor getting involved here on this one. So we'll go back and check out to see what happens with those drivers here. And just...
I think it was just like an accordion right there as the 19 got a little bit loose, and the 64 and the 83, big impact right there. The 83 ends up getting a meatball on that one. And Jimmy, I had myself a little Chick-fil-A tonight. Me and the kids had some Chick-fil-A tonight, but it's certainly tasted a lot better than I'm sure that tasted there for the 64 Michael Garcia. Waffle House, can't say it's been any time recently that I had Waffle House, as looks like the 24 just sliding in there, getting a little piece of Hake, but Hake had to tow it back to pit lane, unfortunately. That's what I was trying to think. I feel like there might be one actually up near the Poconos. I feel like I've seen one up there somewhere, but
they're all over the place here. They're like they're like a 7-Eleven or whatever store that you have that's like every mile. I mean, they're all over the place down here. It's like my son likes to go there, and I'd be like, let's go to Waffle House, and basically start at one end of the street, be like, nope, that one's packed, nope, this one's good, and stuff from there. So, but yeah, because they're not very, Waffle Houses have never been, you know, big or anything like that, but usually, you know, obviously that southern or just breakfast food place to go and
waffles.
Yeah, the waffles are pretty decent. Yeah, but I always get the hash browns out there. I always seem to gravitate to those when I go to the Waffle House for sure.
Yeah, I can't say too much because I feel like anytime I've gone to IHOP, I've gotten waffles. So I've kind of gone the opposite way. So maybe if I went to Waffle House, I'd get pancakes. Exactly. But either way, we are at the right about the halfway point here in this one under another caution. Unfortunately, hopefully we get this thing cleared up. We're going to see pit road probably get a little bit busy here once again, and. We'll see a few cars, I would think, stay out, though. The ones that came in on lap 16, 17, maybe they'll stay out here. Looks like Cody Handler going to stay out. Kyle Emerson, Dylan Emerson, Brian Roy, Austin Wells coming in, staying out of the pits. And, you know, certainly the drivers that have taken tires, a set of tires already, kind of worth staying out there. But we do see the driver of the 6, Dylan Emerson, he came in on lap number 17. Looks like he maybe topped off on fuel. Not sure if he took tires on that first entry into pit road. But either way, under caution, new leader out front, Cody Handler up 12 spots. Kyle Emerson up 22 spots here early on. As again, we're at lap number 25. Still got 30 more to go, Jimmy. Still got a lot of racing to go.
Plenty of racing to go. About 30 minutes. Or so under green for sure, as the laps are right around that 15 seconds, 52 seconds a lap or so, and when they're grouped up together. Under caution though, about a minute and a half, so had a little more time, and yeah, it's Pocono's one of those tracks, you know, no matter what pace car is out there, it's still got some time out there, and so that's why a lot of drivers do come down in the pit lane when they got some slight damage. So if they're like tagging the wall or something, you can get some good damage repaired, you know, on a pit stop there, 40 seconds or better, even maybe up to a minute or so. And maybe if you leave it early, you can come back around and get in there for another few more seconds and still get out and catch the field before you're going to go back to green. There's plenty of time out there to, you know, get small repairs done, even with the crews here at iRacing. If you happen to not have a fast repair, or you're saving it for later. But we've seen a couple incidents here tonight, just drivers kind of trying to modulate that throttle car. Also, maybe the reduction in power that's happening in real life is maybe something that's needed here with these cars, so they don't break loose like that.
hopefully we can get this all cleared up in the first half of the race and get a good green run in the second half of the race. I know it's been a little bit caution filled here, and I know it's not something these drivers want, certainly not what we want up here, and I know everybody out there in Sierra Nation is not what you want to see either, but we'll get through this one way or another, and I'm sure they'll start cranking away some green flag laps eventually here tonight. But either way, again, want to thank everyone out there for tuning in here tonight as we're getting closer to that chase. I know I keep bringing it up, but it is a big talking point for sure. We are going to talk about something else as well, the kind of the race within the race, the point standings that they're not the point standings, the kind of the bracket challenge that they have going through quite a bit of races where they're in groups of 4, and the top 2 in each group move on. The bottom 2 get sent virtually home, and they're out of the brackets. But we'll get to talking about that in the second half of the race, hopefully under some green flag conditions. But so far, it is Cody Handler, Kyle Emerson are going to be leading this thing back to green.
California are all caught up here. A few cars coming in the rear here, getting ready to get too wide here, and that's kind of one thing, Carl. You know, obviously I'm here in the blimp right now, taking a look down overhead, how the cars are all kind of lined up, and you can see, you know, some drivers give a little more room to others. Some are okay with the ride side by side, but as it goes back farther and farther in the field, it all get a little more wonky. It reminds me of when I was at boot camp, and they always wanted the back to be marching exactly like the front, so the spacing had to always be the same. And man, we get in trouble because, you know, when stuff started happening, just that slinky effect, you know, and then the back of the pack looks like a bunch of turds, and you know, we get yelled at back in 1995, and they do what they put us on our, what they call it, get on your face, basically a push-up position, and push-ups until we're sweating a lot. And well, boot camp's up north, and definitely took a little while to break that sweat.
Well, we've been sweating out some cautions here in the first half of this race. We are now coming up on the halfway point in this race. I think it's about time, Jimmy, we turn it away, as some of these drivers may think, take a little power nap, but either way, give everyone out there in Sierra Nation.
We'd love to hear it.
I would love to hear it. Power naps complete up here in the booth, and we're back to racing here at Pocono Raceway, and hopefully this is the final restart we'll see of the night. Hopefully we can get this thing to the green, or to the checkered flag here, and get this thing done and dusted, as we got Dylan Emerson out front here, Justin Potts in at second, Austin Smith, TJ Hanley, Thomas O'Connor to your top 5, Dylan Jacobs, Michael Garcia, Kyle Emerson, Cody Brewer, Tiffany Ellis for your top 10. It's been a little racy, a little rough up here in the Pocono Mountains, but we're still got a lot to go here. Still got a lot to play out. I mean, 20 laps at Pocono is still a long way.
Yeah, it's a lot longer than most tracks for sure. Plenty of good racing to be had, and still drivers looking for that opportunity to maybe pick up a spot there. As the 18 trying to go underneath the 5, and then 5 trapped, and TJ Hanley chasing down the track there on the backstretch as they work their way around the track here. So, but we're back there where that battling is. You can see some 2 wide action right there in front of Tiffany Ellis. That'd be for Pete number 8. And cars really starting to, I think about their final positions for Carl. We've had a bunch of drivers kind of come in and I think maybe take some tires and fuel, and they might rise through here. See the 82 really trimming the apron there down the grass just a little bit. But yeah, some 2 wide, some close action, some people taking the run and trying to make a move, some drivers stepping out there. Taking chances here at Pocono, and as we start finishing up here to get to the chase. But the 82 likes to get down that apron, catches too much, upsets that car. Able to catch it, but I think it's almost deja vu. He spins around, brings out another caution. So then 82 of Brian Roy having a rough one here tonight at Pocono.
We'll take a look at that here one more time. You see just down there on the apron. You can go on the apron on turn number 2. You can go on the apron on turn number 3. Turn 1, not recommended. And you see exactly why right there, as a bit of a rough spin around there for the 82, and certainly plenty of damage to get repaired on that Ford. But going to bring us under another caution here. Regroup the field. I mean, we've seen out front there Dylan Emerson, and in third place, Austin Smith. They both last pitted on lap number 17. I don't see new tires on that car. Maybe they came in on 16, got tires, and then topped off on 17 under that caution. But if that's the case, I mean, it doesn't seem like tires are really playing that big of a part here tonight. We're not seeing drivers, so much better, so much faster through these corners. We had a lot of cars come in there on lap 32, take at least right side tires. We had some take 4 tires, not making huge gains.
No, and I think it has to deal with the cautions just a little bit. You can really tear up these tires, and I know these cars are a little bit wider. They're extremely planted, and it's probably, for the most part, unless you're off on the apron on a high bank turn, which is never good. But definitely, they haven't seemed to be struggling too much with tires. Seen early on, some of the drivers maybe running a little high and snagging the wall a little bit, but I think after some of the repairs they've had to make on their vehicles, not wanting to chance it, so pretty much kept it off there. And here, just a lot of it self-inflicted wounds, a run line or people sending in a little bit deep into the corners can, it adds up over time and pretty quickly, especially when it comes to tires. But so far, so good for some of the ones that have been in. But you talked about tires and last pit stops, Carl. 17 laps to go. And a lot of drivers coming in. I mean, a lot of drivers, even all the ones that were in on lap number 32.
Yeah, we got a couple staying out. Looks like Jay Monin, Harper Fox going to slide it to the front of this field, staying out. They last pit on lap number 32. It looks like Jay Monin, maybe right side tires on that 67, the 99 of Harper Fox. Just see, it looks like maybe just fuel in that car, but going to shuffle to the front of this field. I would think probably at least 2 tires, maybe 4 on some of the cars that came in here. I'm seeing a lot of quick pit stops though, Jimmy. I mean, maybe this was a fuel mileage race after all, and some of these drivers had to top off, or maybe it's just a lot of 2 tire stops to get these cars to rotate through the corners.
Yeah, but new tires on the right side and added fuel definitely loosens these cars up. But I don't know if that's what they want, but that's what it seems like where they've had issues with actually getting it in the gas on the throttle coming off the corners, getting a little bit loose. The last one there, like we said, it was just a little bit too low. So it's not like he was the car was too tight that it was pushing to the outside. He was able to hook that the apron and upset the car for that last incident. But we're gonna get this thing all set done here soon. We're on lap 40. We got 16 more to go as trying to finish this thing up. Hopefully they can get this thing back under green and finish it to the end here and see who's going to be your next winner. But right now, Jay Monin out front with Harper Fox, and then Justin Potts there in third. Dylan Emerson sitting back and forth with Dalen Jacobs, and Austin Smith sitting in sixth, and then Cody Brewer in seventh, Tiffany Ellis in eighth, and Thomas O'Connor in ninth. Austin Well rounds out your top 10. Biggest mover of the race is currently your leader with 22 spots. So almost a back to the front, or well, definitely to the front type of night here so far for Jay.
Close to the end of this thing as we're now on lap number 41, so we still got 15 laps to go. Jay Monin and Harper Fox on the front row to restart this one, and we'll see how this thing is going to play out still. Again, 15 laps here is a lot of racing, and I know it's only going to be 14 under green. Hopefully that's where it stays. Okay, I was blinking out there for a second. I don't know what was going on, but there we go. Justin Potts is the first one that came into the pits right there, but again, I don't see too many 4-tire pit stops. If anything, maybe a lot of 2 tires to go on these cars. But either way, we'll get this thing restarted here one more time. Hopefully, knock on wood, cross your fingers, cross your toes, whatever you got to cross your legs. Hopefully, this is the last caution that we see here tonight. We get this thing green.
Yeah, lights off on the pace car. Another trip down the back stretch, down through the tunnel turn. Into 3 in search of 4. But all you find is a long straightaway as you pass by your favorite fans out there in the grandstands and try to get across that start-finish line first. So see if we can get this thing wrapped up like we said here multiple times here tonight, as the caution flags have been a pain in the butt. And definitely put some extra added time to in the seat here for these drivers. But I think we're going to get going. It's going to be interesting here. I don't think pit stops are. I think the tires, everybody coming in, everybody should be pretty much a even playing field. We're just going to need to find out whether tires from lap 32 or tires from lap 39 is going to become victorious.
Based on what we've seen so far, it doesn't seem like the tires playing too much of a part here tonight, so we'll see how it works out here. Jay Monin in the 67 are going to be able to restart first. He's already on the loud pedal, back to racing here at Pocono. Good restart from him. The 89 of Justin Potts going to follow through here as well, get around the 99 of Harper Fox heading into 1.
Harper Fox slides into P number 3. And you see the THD paint schemes all over here tonight being represented there. So different colors, different shading, all kinds of different little things on them, but sporting that THD logo out there. And I see the number 33 of Austin Smith really looking for maybe a way around. But the 5 gets around the 99. And now Tiffany Ellis starting to kind of poke that 9 back up towards the front again. She was faster in practice up in the top 3, currently sitting in 6th. I even had a good qualifying in the top 5, so trying to get back to where she started. But Carl, the cautions keep on flying tonight. Gonna go back and check to see what happened out there. It looks like Thomas O'Connor, Cody Hamner, and Ryan Sizemore all getting involved here on this one. Looks like Chris Leffer went off track. Mike Garcia off track as well, trying not to be involved. Go back here and already happening. Let's see. We'll rewind that just a little bit. See what happened here. See, 18 started to come down. Wasn't quite clear of the 08, and ends up getting himself hooked down in the grass. They do check up just a little bit, but TJ tries to avoid it. Does check up here. but the 18 still trying to collect the car, not with losing speed, and the 08 ends up hitting him again and sends him this time sideways, and is going to end up catching the 19, spins him sideways. 19 gets put up into the 31, and just domino effect, but a few other cars getting involved there. 24, 60, people running off in the grass to avoid them, but tough break here at the end. It'll be another couple laps before they get back going to green. We'll be down about 10 laps to go after they're all said and done for here. But Carl, obviously, you know, I don't think we have to worry about fuel here tonight, but hopefully anybody that pitted later in the race here to get their top off, get the tires, is able to kind of make their way up, because cautions that keep going like this kind of invites like aggressive driving from like the drop of the green flag. So and with little laps to go, they don't have time to kind of settle in and get some sort of run going.
Yeah, caution's breeding caution like rabbits here tonight, unfortunately, because these drivers want to get after it and get at it right away. And this is now the second time where we've seen a driver in the lead here late. That kind of surprised me to come into the pits. We've seen it with Dylan Emerson early on, and now we see it here with Jay Monin. I mean, Jay Monin had the lead on the restart there, controlled the lead after the restart, but decides to come into the pits. Again, maybe fuel is an issue here, because 5.5 seconds, I don't think it's enough time to change tires. I think that's just fuel only, so maybe they're not getting a good fuel mileage here at all tonight. Not sure what the case is, but either way, we're going to be down to, like Jimmy said, around 10 laps to go when we get this in green. Meanwhile, I can tease it a little bit before the love to hear it. The bracket as it stands right now is down to 16 drivers. And bracket number 1, you have Dylan Jacobs, Cody Brewer, TJ Hanley, Matthew Hake. And again, 2 drivers will move on from that one. In the next bracket, you have Austin Smith, Thomas O'Connor, Joshua Smith, and Ron Millam. In the third bracket, you have Jay Monin, Chris Ledford, Anthony Emerson, and Brian Roy. And then in the final bracket, you have Justin Potts, Dylan Emerson, Ryan Sizemore, and Kelly Akron. Kelly not here tonight, so obviously that will put the kibosh on that one. But either way, that is your brackets coming into Pocono Raceway. Hopefully, again, this is the last time we see that pace car. Apparently, we didn't do enough crossing on that last one. Hopefully, we can just get this thing done and dusted right now. We are going to get the lights out on the pace car. Looks like Justin Potts going to choose the outside line here for the restart, and it'll be 10 laps to go when we get the green.
Yeah, it's right at that part. You know, it's just trying to survive the next few laps, and I'm sure some of these drivers up front, like the likes of Justin Potts, wouldn't mind another caution here and there, and maybe float this thing around to a green-white checker, or even worse, ending it under a green-white checker with a caution. So it's not what they want, but it's been a tough one here for the drivers, just kind of holding on to their cars here tonight. And, you know, it's one thing about these next-gen cars, and we've seen it a few tracks, is they are super hard to catch. So when any driver can make a mistake and catch the car without spinning it or getting into somebody else, it's usually pretty impressive. But these cars are not for the liking of being disrupted in the rear end coming around here. It takes a lot of skill and talent to kind of keep them going forward when something like that happens. But right now it is Justin Potts out in front over Dylan Jacobs. Harper Fox up there in P number 3. Austin Smith in 4th. Tiffany Ellis has made her way back up into P number 5. And then Cody Brewer, Austin Wells, TJ Hanley, Will O'Connor, and Chase Ballard make up your top 10.
Yeah, I've said it before, and I'll say it again when it comes to saving these cars. And really, in my opinion, saving a lot of cars, especially on the oval side. I know a lot of drivers, their tendency is if your back end's kicking out, you know, to the right-hand side, that they'll want to counter steer and turn to the right to try and save that car. You can save it like that, but honestly, in my opinion, more often than not, I would steer with the slide. So I would, if the car is spinning with the back end kicking out to the right, I'm going to turn to the left, and I'm actually going to turn into the slide. That was a bit of a rough start on the inside there from the 99. but the reason being is the back end doesn't have grip, but the front end does. That's why the car is still going to the left with the back end going to the right. So by turning hard to the left, you're kind of breaking that front end loose as well, and you're kind of going into a 4-tire slide, and you may slide down the track, you may not fully collect it, but you're not going to have that snap back to the right where it goes plowing into the wall and ending your night. I would rather be sliding sideways down the track than having that snap back to the right, which you see destroys a lot of drivers' cars. But that's just my opinion. Maybe something for the drivers to check out, try out sometime. But either way, Justin Potts is your leader here. Now down to 9 laps to go here at the line. Hopefully, we get some green flag racing to the end.
Yeah, make it one lap without having to throw the yellow. And, obviously they stretch out pretty quickly here, and but we have some speed up front here. We haven't talked about Justin much throughout the season. Obviously, have 14 spots here tonight. We got that 89 on a roll at the moment. Clean air is always good on the nose of these things, helping that front end turn down to these corners, and working his way down to turn number 2 to head over the tunnel turn, and get things going here and finish up some more laps. But right, yeah, good to go here up front. Got some battling going back on here in the middle of the pack as well. There's a lot of side-by-side racing towards the back half of the field here. So everybody trying to collect as many points as possible.
Yeah, time to take it down. I mean, I mentioned the brackets as well. Yeah, I'm sure these drivers know who they're racing against in their bracket, and maybe trying to pick up a few more positions before this thing is over, just in that case as well. And still got some races left before the chase to sneak their way back into the top 12. But right now, just looking to hopefully get this thing done and dusted. 8 laps to go currently here at Pocono. Justin Potts out there in the lead, but Dylan Jacobs, who led a ton of this race early on, he was the pole sitter, looking to get himself back to the front of this field, has reeled in Justin Potts. He's in second, Austin Smith in third, Cody Brewer in fourth, TJ Hanley in fifth. Biggest mover of the race, Will O'Connor, Jay Monin, both up 16 spots in sixth and seventh. And we talked about Jay Monin, kind of questioning, head scratching why he came into the pits. Well, he still got fast number 67, working his way up there almost to the top 5.
And that's a good call there. Obviously the green flag run here has helped him out just a little bit, and then get him back in that situation, and hopefully he can get that Monin 67 car up there. And but the time's starting to run down here, Carl. We've got 7 laps to go. Justin Potts out to just a slight lead as the 5 of Dylan Jacobs starting to use that draft and look at different angles, and start making the 89 a little bit nervous as he looks for a way around here. But as far as Justin goes in the 89, just hold your line, hit your marks, and if he's faster, he's going to go around you. Just don't give him anything that's easy. And then back here, Austin Smith back here in third again. So that 33 been hanging around up front for quite often these last few races. Carl just can't seem to get that machine across the start finish line. But there's a big wreck coming out of turn number 3. Caution flag comes out, and that's going to take us down probably to the green-white, an unofficial green-white checker attempt. But it happens with Michael Garcia here, the Chick-fil-A machine. Oh, the 10 is coming out, tapping that left rear, and oof! They meet at the water barrels. Water barrels. And the engine blew on that number 64. So he'll have to tow. So tough break there for the 64. It wasn't no fault of his own. But Pickens grilled on that one, Carl.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely spilled his waffle fries on that one. Justin Potts is your leader. I don't think he would leave the track and give up his track position here. It is certainly late enough that I don't think it's a good idea to do so. We're going to be down and close to green-white checkered. We'll see how many caution laps we have here. Certainly, it's maybe going to be an unofficial one, and we'll still have the opportunity of more overtime here tonight. I don't know what the curfew is here at Pocono. We should be good to go. I know still we got technically an hour and a half. Yeah, an hour and a half before they kick us out of the booth here.
There's only an hour and 25 minutes left, but they only got 5 laps to go. But, you know, these 5 laps could be 10 minutes and then maybe stretch it out a little bit. So, I mean, we could be here another 20, 25 minutes, depending on how many cautions we get remaining here. But I think no more than 2 cautions, I think. If this one is an unofficial green-white checker here as they start rounding things up. But, you know, you start thinking about fuel. Hopefully they've saved enough, and that's not an issue for some of the drivers that, you know, they go in when they take these fuel stops, and you know, sometimes when they get this low, they don't always take as much fuel as they can to make their cars just a little bit lighter, maybe give them that little bit of advantage that they need for down the straightaway speed. But yeah, it's going to be interesting here finish, I think, and hopefully with everybody kind of being grouped up. We still got quite a few drivers on the lead lap. I'll bring up the tower here. You can see when you're where everybody kind of stands. Do have 20 drivers on the lead lap, and first car a lap down is Ryan Sizemore. So, and then you got a bunch of people coming in the pits, Carl. So you got Hake, Fox, Ballard, Wells, Garcia. Garcia's got that meatball, so and he's still smoking. So he might still be towing.
Yeah, I would think so. It's a long tow here at Pocono for sure. And I don't know if he's if when he's done towing, if he's going to try and bring that thing back out or not. He's certainly been involved in a couple of big ones here tonight. Not sure if he has a fast repair left in the tank, and especially with this thing being as late in the race as it is right now, we'll see how it all works out for the 64. But either way, we're going to have a restart here. I don't believe we're not getting ready for the restart just yet. Should be getting the 1-0 next time by. And that's kind of what gets a little painful sometimes here at Pocono, is that it's long to get around here under the pace laps. And I mean, you're looking at a little over a minute and 40 seconds here under pace speed, and it seems like there's one too many caution laps in my opinion here at Pocono. I know there's a certain amount of caution laps that you get, but to me it's like we should be going 1 to go at this time.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of feels like, you know, but obviously the drivers that have been involved in an incident, they don't mind a little bit of extra time to go down there and fix their car. Not quite sure how iRacing has deemed how many laps a track needs, or how it's done in NASCAR, but I'm pretty sure it's close as far as time goes. But it does give the drivers quite a bit of time to get down in the pits, get repairs or whatever may be needed. But we're gonna go around here one more time. We got 3 laps to go, and next time by, like I said, I'm pretty sure, Carl, this is it. I don't know if one lap will be added or not.
No, this is going to be an unofficial green-white checkered here, as it's going to still potentially get done in regulation here. So hopefully we can get this thing done in 55 laps. But if not, we do have overtime time allotted. We're still allowed an hour and 20 minutes yet, but hopefully we can keep everybody awake through the end of this thing. I know it's been a little rough here tonight, but we still got to decide who's going to win this thing, and we've seen a ton of different winners here this season. We'll see if somebody up at the front here like Justin Potts, Dylan Jacobs is going to pick up another win. Justin Potts with 1 in the season already. Dylan Jacobs with 2. We'll see if somebody new is going to come up here and pick up themselves a win. Austin Smith certainly would love to crack through and get himself his first win of the season, and kind of do what Thomas O'Connor did last week, get the win from that 12th spot in the points. But we're going to have to find that out after a green-white checkered, hopefully the one and only one here tonight. But we are, we do have plans for more if needed as we go through turn number 2, and we'll get the green at this time by.
Anticipation. It's building. The checkered flag is around the corner, for real. I mean, around one of these left-hand turns, there's going to be a black and white flag, and we have to finish the stick up here tonight. So, and I'm sure they'll go back and discuss some of the things that happened, but nothing. I mean, they've just been like pretty consistent, just like small mistakes, but big jump there from the outside, but the inside line altogether, you can see him trying to push each other to get up there, get that 5 running up there with the number 89 of Justin Potts. They're going to go 3 wide. The 33 Austin Smith is almost loose. It has to go. Checks up.
Great save.
Big save it, but Monin down on the apron. It's going to go around sideways. Still 2 laps to go. Still green flag. He's still going. So it looks like we're going to keep it going green here. We're going to head back out front. Justin Potts out in the lead, coming out of turn number 2, heading over the tunnel turn.
You're down now into turn number 3. We'll get the white flag this time by. If we do, the next flag will end it. And it looks like we're going to come through turn number 3. Big hit on the wall there for, I believe it was TJ Hanley. 89 of Justin Potts gets the white flag. 1 more lap to go here at Pocono. Finally reached that white flag. We had a couple cars that are limping their way back to pit lane. Looks like Dylan Large had an incident there in the 26 as well. Right now it is Potts trying to hold off Dylan Jacobs, your points leader, and keep him from getting his 3rd win of the season. Looks like we got another car turned around backwards. It's Ryan Sizemore in at turn number 1. Not sure what happened on that one as he has crashed, but we're going to keep this thing green as we go through 2. Looks like Dylan Jacobs smacks the wall a little bit out of turn number 2. That might be enough right there for Justin Potts to be able to cruise on to the victory here tonight. He gets it down to the bottom. Dylan Jacobs trying to run high, trying to get some momentum out of the corner. Not going to happen. Justin Potts going to crack through and get his 2nd win of the season here at Pocono.
Justin Potts getting the win here tonight over Dylan Jacobs, and then Cody Brewer climbing way up the field along with Will O'Connor, and then Brian Roy for your top 5. So we'll get a chance to talk to those top 3 here very shortly as they're finishing up here, crossing the start-finish line. Got a couple more to come across, and then we'll have the results. But, yeah, long race, I think, for the drivers, and I'm sure it's not what they were wanting. I mean, they put some time in practice, and I know they have a little over an hour while they wait for us to kind of come over from the CSRL race and go live here to cover Speed Limit Racing's races. You know, and they're out here learning. A lot of these drivers are newer to the service or just working on their racecraft. And the thing is, probably they keep coming out each and every week, and I think that's the biggest thing here for these drivers is to be able to kind of come out here and keep working on your racecraft and be around kind of like, you know, similar skill level drivers, and gives you the opportunity to win. I mean, there's been so many different winners here in just a short amount of time, and it's always good to see. But yeah, the race is over. I was waiting for somebody's didn't cross the line. The result yet?
Like I said, we had a couple turnaround backwards. That could have been why.
Yeah, so as they now number 89 can turn around backwards and do some donuts there, but Justin Potts getting the win over Dylan Jacobs, Cody Brewer, Will O'Connor, Brian Roy, round out your top 5, and it's TJ Hanley, Kyle Emerson, Thomas O'Connor, Justin Smith, Ron Millam, Tiffany falls back to 11th, Dylan Emerson in 12th, Chase Ballard back to 13th, Cody Hamler in 14th, Matthew Hake in 15th. Chris Ledford finishes back there in 16th, Harper Fox in 17th. Bruce Spencer finishes in 18th, and then back to the rest of the field, 19th being Jay Monin, Ryan Sizemore, Dylan Large, Joshua Smith, Michael Garcia, Austin Wells, and your 25th car is Joshua Duncan, but he was out early.
We got some more drivers in ready for their interviews, and looks like we're just waiting for our winner, Justin Potts. But in the meantime, Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and start off our interviews here tonight with our 3rd place finisher here tonight, the 88 of Cody Brewer.
Hey, Cody, Jimmy Carl up in the booth to Cafe.
Yes, sir. It's back-to-back weeks getting to talk to you guys. This is a weird feeling.
Yeah, this is getting a little strange here. I mean, we don't really like to put name tags on the seats up here, but, you know, you're getting awful comfy up here. So, but that's great to see. It's awesome to have that 88 get back up here again and get a good finish. Obviously, not the qualifying that you wanted to have. You know, you gained 14 spots tonight, so that's awesome. But give us a little rundown of your race and how you managed to get up there and sneak in another podium finish this week.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of practice before the race started, so I just knew I like Pocono. It's been one of my best tracks, so I just knew if we could get some green flag racing, I could make passes there. I do a lot better here when the tires get worn out, so I was really hoping for long runs, but all in all, I can't complain getting third place and I'm either a little closer or finally into the chase, so that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, for somebody that loves some green flag running at Pocono, you did not have it here tonight. I think you guys went about maybe 8 laps at one point. Not even enough to get yourself a green flag pit stop. But you get it done here tonight. You make you keep your nose clean. You stay out of trouble. You make the right calls down the pits, and that's what got you here. So we want to say congratulations, man. We know it was a tough one, a long one, but like you said, looking forward to making that chase, getting into that final spot. So a little bigger picture there for the 88 here. But so congratulations. Give me some time for any shouts you might have.
Yeah, just you guys for doing the broadcast and PRSL for the league and Maximum Edge Graphics for the paint. Thank you, guys.
I really appreciate the shout outs. Again, congratulations, man, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
That is your third place finisher here tonight, Cody Brewer and the 88. Second place here tonight, your points leader, the 5 of Dylan Jacobs. Dylan, you had the pole here tonight. You led a bunch of laps early on. Certainly tons of different pit stops, pit strategies, yellow flags mixed you up through the field. But at the end of it, you had a shot to get back up there and get yourself a third win. Is there anything different you could have done?
Take left side tires at some point in the race.
It did seem like pretty much the entire race. I don't know if I've seen maybe 3 cars all night take 4 tires. I'm guessing you guys were just loaded up on rights here tonight.
Yeah, I was expecting the tire wear to be a lot more, but I just took rights just to see the first pit stop, and the left sides after 12 laps were still at like 96%. So decided just to run them out and abuse them.
Yeah, it seemed like that for the most part, other than maybe the exit of turn 1, that the car was planted pretty well. It didn't seem like it was, getting too loose and not necessarily too tight. But definitely, we've seen the typical, every once in a while see cars drifting out and smacking them all coming out of the corners. But you're going to have that on these flatter tracks.
Oh yeah, most definitely. The arrow was huge here today. If you were within 2 car lengths behind someone getting in the corner and running into the tire tracks, you were losing 4 or 5 car lengths because you would just get so tight through the whole corner. It was insane.
Well, you come home in second place here tonight. Some more good points to carry over and keep you in that points lead for sure, heading into the last 3 races of the regular season. Before we let you go here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to?
Of course, you guys always for a great broadcast, my friends and families for supporting me doing this, and my teammates for great pitch strategies and always working together.
All right, buddy. Congrats again on the second place. We'll let you go and get out of here. We'll see you next week and see if we talk to you again after the race there at Bristol.
Yes, sir.
That's your second place finisher here tonight. Dylan Jacobs in the number 5 top spot here tonight is the man that held him off. That's an 89 of Justin Potts.
Hey, Justin, Jimmy, Carl, open the booth, copy.
I've got y'all loud and clear.
Yeah, welcome back to the booth, man. Another win for the season here. That number 89 THD Designs car. And, you didn't, looking at how many positions you gained tonight, you gained 14, by the way, if you're wondering. And you didn't have the best of starts, but your strategy and your calls to come in when you did and take fuel and tires was able to keep that 89 out front. I thought the 5 was going to run you down and give you maybe a shot or a side-by-side start-finish line finish there, but you were able to kind of hold him off I think he was pushing just a little bit too hard here tonight. So you get that win, but give us a little rundown of your race, man, and maybe what was the key point or I guess thing that you were thinking about that, like, hey, I can get this win here tonight.
Obviously qualifying out towards mid-pack, definitely not the great qualifying that I'm typically good with, but with it being Pocono, anything could happen. It's a tricky triangle. That's what they call it. TJ, the 08, decided let's reverse it. So like 55 laps minus 17, because it was about 17 laps of fuel. And so the first car she came out around 2 or 3, somewhere around there. Decided to pit just for fuel, and then I pretty much pitted only for fuel. What was it? Maybe about 3 times. I only took right sides on my second or third pit stop, and I was clean and green ever since then. I think just the call TJ made worked out perfectly. This win really changes my season because this season has been rough the past few weeks. And ever since really Gateway, when I knew I had a chance to get the win, I choked. The Roval ended up choking with 4 to go. And then ever since then, it's kind of just been downhill. But luckily, with this win, it's kind of got me back to where I should be and contending for the win each and every week.
Yeah, I mean, a good turnaround. It just takes one race to get that confidence back up there and knowing that you can be out there and grab these wins like you did here tonight. So, man, just keep up the good work. And again, we want to say congratulations, but most of all, I want to give you a little bit of time for any shouts you might have on that number 89.
I want to shout out TJ Hanley at TH Designs for sponsoring the car this week. My brand, Potts Designs and Potts Graphics, a little side work that I do here and there. My parents for allowing me to do this every week that I can. Want to shout out all the fully involved guys, Ryan, Charlie, Bailey, Allison, Lawson, everyone over there. It's a little 5M group that I'm a part of, and they love supporting myself and Ryan each and every week that we race. They always pop in on the live stream. I don't know if they chat. I don't really know. I'll have to look back through it. Just my grandma for looking down on me each and every day, just helping me go through each and every day on a high end. Obviously, the past couple months have been really rough for me, just personally. Hopefully, sooner rather than later, it can go back to what it was before the summer started. Just thank God this race is done and over with because my neck is getting sore. And next week we got a interesting track choice. Bristol is going to be a very interesting little short track race. Hopefully it's not too chaotic, but it's Bristol. It's the last great Coliseum. It's going to be hectic, but it's short track racing. Nothing to complain about that.
You definitely have a soup bowl in the kitchen next week for sure, and you're gonna have your hands full of those high speed banks, and you take a pit stop there, you go down 3 laps, but the tires are so great there, it's gonna be a basic. But again, like we said, appreciate the shout outs as always, man. It's good to get you back up in your booth. I'm glad that your day can finish out on a high note here and get that 89 back to where it needs to be here for the season. Look forward to seeing you in the chase and making a run there for a championship. So again, I just want to say congratulations and let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
I appreciate it. We'll catch y'all next week.
Yes, sir.
That is the winner here tonight, the 89 of Justin Potts with his second win on the season, and certainly helping him out in those standings to get himself a little bit closer to locking him in the chase. We got Bristol coming up next week. As mentioned, Richmond and Watkins Glen will finish out the regular season before we head to the chase. That's all coming up the rest of the month here in August. We got the doubleheader tomorrow night with VVR and the Core GT Series. But for myself and Jimmy from the Pocono Raceway, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.